Now, McClain may not be done with Gnome Village, but as far as Zook is concerned, he's had enough. He'll come back and visit later.
Zook came here and got laid. Now he's done.
Oh.
So
yeah, I guess that is pretty much what happened.
He's gonna get a letter in a couple of months.
Can I just say that's the best banana that has been used the entire fucking game, ladies and gentlemen?
What, the existence of Gnome Town?
The banana indirectly led to Zook getting laid.
So what you're saying is that Zook is so undesirable that he requires supernatural assistance to get laid. Is that what you're saying?
All I heard was Zook got laid.
Can I have a Mountain Dew?
Alright, so yeah, the gnomes are far severe, you know. Now that Zook has the ability to traverse the woods without getting hopelessly lost, you're given directions to Lake Fenufar, which is up in the northern area of the woods, which was your destination all along.
Yeah.
Which means I need to open everybody's favorite map.
Is this the forest clearing?
It's everybody's favorite map.
Oh god, are we gonna get into another fight in another forest clearing?
Of course you are.
Thank you.
Listen, I like to run with what I know. What I know is forest clearing.
Hold on, I'm confused. This was a lake last time we were here?
Yep.
No, this is a different.
Is this
clearing.
all you know?
This is the only map we need. The whole game now takes place on this map.
Yep. Now, Brick, I talked to you earlier in the week and you said something about I haven't started planning D&D, and the first thing that I see is the map we've used 30 times. Is there a correlation?
I didn't start planning D&D until 1 a.m. last night.
You know how Zook is up the forest? This is the forest he's of.
Oh, okay.
So
Once I get 9th level spells, this circle is going to indicate a 1-mile radius.
Gee, this rock looks familiar.
Anywho.
Have you guys forgotten that the only things you need for this game are a grid and your imagination?
And certain rules.
And certain rules.
I require standees and lots of pretty colors.
and dice. Let's go ahead and make camp in this clearing that you found.
Oh, so it's not actually a lake this time?
No, it's actually a clearing.
Wait, do you want me to literally make camp? Because I could draw a circle that everyone can sit in if you want.
I think that we should literally
Sure.
make camp.
There you go, Nodal.
I mean, you wouldn't sleep in out now that you can make a little house. You wouldn't sleep outside, not in the little house, right?
Oh, I didn't even sleep in the fucking horrible gnome thing past the first day.
So you pitched your Leomud's hut up in the middle of
Is this a
Gnome Town?
hut or a shelter?
This is a tiny hut.
Okay. Not a secure shelter.
That's all I can make, man.
Okay.
I can't make an unseen shelter.
Oh, you know
I
what?
can make an
Actually,
unseen servant.
I
You make an
did just
unseen
remember.
servant inside of our shelter.
Fred was
Oh wait,
here.
Fred's
Yeah,
here.
Fred was with you, delicious animals.
Fred pitched the hut.
right.
It takes me 10 minutes. That bitch can toss him out.
Yes, I'll go ahead. We'll get Fred up in here. You guys went and got him to include
Does
him
he
in the
want
Gnome
to
adventure.
now? Does Fred want to come with us to this crazy tower, or does he want to stay in Gnome Town?
Fred also got
Fred
laid
is
in
our
Gnome
only
Town,
source
so.
of healing.
No,
that's a good
Fred's
call.
happy to go with you guys and have an adventure. He says it's been a while. He says this
Been a
clearing
while
looks,
here.
this clearing looks very familiar.
Have you been drinking, Fred? It's your imagination.
You know what he hasn't been doing is leveling up. He's still level 8.
All right, so Fred's gonna die.
I think Destil makes these clearings. Like, he just gets really fucking anal and he's like, no, this is what I know is safe.
He goes around a circle with scissors and
Wait,
Yeah.
if this is his idea of safe, we need to.
So what is the
That'll be
watch
good.
like overnight?
Well, Zook will definitely take a watch.
Yeah, always good for the Infravision people to take some watch.
Okay,
Tarin will
so
take a watch.
the 3 of you? In what order?
I don't know. Zook will take first watch. Why not?
I'll take last.
Take second.
Okay.
Okay, so
Wait, does Khalil
who's taking the second watch?
have Infravision?
Khalil
Oh, he's got
can.
that ring now, huh?
Why would you? But you don't have night vision.
I've got the ring that lasts for an hour.
Infravision and Dark Vision are the same thing, as far as I'm concerned. I see that
Yeah, that's
Nodal
what I-
has his
that's
owl
what I
out.
mean.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, why not?
So is it Khalil or Tarin on second watch?
It's Tarin.
It should be Tarin.
Tarin? Okay.
Your thing
Fine.
only lasts for an hour. A watch would be like 4 hours or 3 hours
Cleo,
or
we
whatever.
understand you want to help, but maybe tomorrow.
You're more helpful sleeping and having your sword ready.
Tarin,
Yes.
perception check.
That would be a 13 on perception.
Okay, sun comes up the next morning. The night was uneventful. And Zook, your passive perception is outrageous, isn't it?
Okay, now that we figured out I've been doing that wrong as well. Yeah, my passive perception is 17.
And Khalil's is 16, yes?
It's actually higher
Khalil's
because I
is
can't
higher,
edit it.
right. Because of...
Because of my feat that I took at first level observant. So,
where do you have that
plus
on the
5
character sheet? Oh, I see it.
It's
It's right at the top.
in features and traits.
It's literally the first thing on the character sheet.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first feat I took at level 1, so passive perception's 21.
Khalil and Zook can both make a survival check.
All right,
Who and Zook?
Khalil and Zook.
you. Oh, that's actually a really good one. That'll be a 24 for Zook.
Nice. What did Khalil get?
11.
Zook,
Yes.
as the company moves north, back into the tree line, you notice tracks very close to the tree line. And following them around, you see they encircle the entire clearing just beyond the tree line. Not sure how many. Something large and heavy. Humanoid, from what you can tell.
If I point out the tracks to Khalil, can he use any of his know your enemy skills to out?
Yeah, he can, actually. I'll let him make
That would
a...
be it. That would be fascinating.
You can use... What did we decide? Arcana, Nature, or History, whichever you want to try to use.
+0, +0, or +0. 12.
They're goblinoid. But with Zook's help, you can tell the tracks are heavier than a typical goblin. Larger than the goblins that you've encountered, certainly. Leads you to believe it'd be something in maybe bugbear, hobgoblin territory, which are members of the same goblinoid family, but larger, and they have different dispositions. For example, goblins would never come around out the woods just to scout you guys out. They're not that intelligent.
And the impression I get from the tracks is that they were definitely circling and scouting, but not necessarily approaching.
Exactly. The impression you got from the tracks is that somebody noticed your hut and spent the evening watching you,
All right,
and then took off.
I tell Tarin and the others, but mostly addressing Tarin, and let him know, Captain, we were watched last night, and I show him the tracks and yada yada yada. Pass all that along.
Can you guys follow the tracks to where came or left to?
Are the tracks going in the direct? Are they leading out to the north, or what? Can't tell what direction they're coming from.
Yeah, once they exit this area, they lead the same direction you're going, towards Lake Venufar.
All right, well, I pass that along and tell them we're probably going to run into them along the way.
Yep.
And I'll keep an eye out as we're looking for the tracks and just see if we're still steadily following them or if they split off or anything.
Okay, make another survival check.
Not as good. That'd be an 18.
Okay, you lose sight of them once or twice along the way, but like I said, they're going the same direction you are, so it's easy to pick them up again.
Okay.
And you're the first one to hear a weird silence in the air. The sound of forest animals and whatnot has ceased. All of a sudden, you notice it.
Since I'm in leading, I'm assuming I'm leading the way, and the folks are probably in sort of a line.
Well, they can be coming up behind you however they want.
I would sort of stop and kind of put a hand up to indicate I want them to stop for a second.
Again, Fred comes to a complete stop, stands very still, and is very quiet for the first time all day.
What has Fred been telling us?
Stories. He's sharing...
Are they very entertaining?
They are very entertaining. He's sharing his wealth of knowledge about stories and poetry and song from the various gnomish communities that are known to exist in Tetlateus, which up until this point for him did not include forest gnomes.
Awesome. I want to roll a perception check.
Looking for what?
Threats?
I mean, like, where are you looking? Are you looking, like, scanning the tree line? Are you going to try to listen for something?
Well,
are you going to search the ground? It might not be a perception check, is what I'm saying.
That's a good call. Well, based on the fact that we saw very large, ground enemies possibly before, I would be searching kind of at eye level around for anything, any ground-based people around us.
Okay.
And
make sure to check the path before us too, so that they didn't leave like snares or something.
Yeah.
We've dealt with that.
Does Eldove suggest that?
Yeah. I'm suggesting this. This is in character to Zook.
Okay.
Okay.
So are you looking for, like, creature threats, or are you going to search around for traps and snares?
Well, the first thing I do when I notice that the forest has gone silent is I immediately think that there's something out here with us. So I'm looking for creatures first.
Okay. Yeah,
Like
go ahead and roll a perception check.
Perception, okay. That bumps up to a 10 plus... 22 on that.
22?
22.
You don't see it right away, but you hear it. You hear movement off to your right, over from the trees over here. It sounds like a group of creatures trying to stay silent, but you are very perceptive indeed.
So when I perceive these guys, I put my finger to my lips and I point in that direction, indicating that there's creatures over there. And then I look to Captain Tarin and I tap my forehead.
Yep, mind link.
And then I pass along exactly what I heard.
Okay.
Creatures over there that are trying to be quiet and doing a bad job of it. Where am I, actually? There I am. I would be actually kind of like here.
That's fine.
And how far ahead of us is Zook?
As far ahead as you want him to be. Well, I mean, within 30 feet, because you just mind link with him.
So he's 30 feet away, okay.
So go ahead and form up how you're actually standing in these woods.
So we were walking sort of in this direction.
You were walking north.
Uh,
The things you just heard are coming from the east.
Walking north. As would be walking however you would normally walk around me or behind me. I don't know if we were bunched up just talking or if I was...
I think the implication was that you were our forward scout.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, definitely, because I'm the only one who knows the path, and I was also looking at goblin tracks.
So what do you guys do?
So,
Just sit and wait?
What does the noises sound like?
You don't
Do they
hear
sound?
them.
what did they sound like to me? Did it sound like they're
That's
like
what I'm asking
shuffling?
Destil.
Right, so that gets
Destil's
relayed.
mind linking shit, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, that gets relayed.
They sound like a group of creatures walking along the ground and trying to remain silent. But nobody can actually hear them but Zook.
How
Actually,
dense is the forest here?
Khalil might be able to hear them.
Passive perception 21.
Yeah, Khalil can hear them as well then. Because his passive perception is amazing.
Are they talking at all, or is it just creeping around that we hear?
Just
Like
movement.
Branches, movement.
Yeah, like twigs snapping
I'll,
beneath feet, bushes rustling.
I'll I'll summon my owl in the tree line near us and have it go scout. See what the fuck.
Go where?
Well, I summoned it like up here away from the creatures, and I'll just have it kind of move through the trees towards them.
And it's not long. You head about maybe a couple 100 feet back into the tree line, and you see a group of... How many? I know how many. Hold on a second. A group of goblins and hobgoblins. 12 hobgoblins, heavily armored, each carrying long sword with a short bow strung across their back. And in front of them, 2 groups of goblins, 12 in each. They're leading them towards you. Big group, all trying to be very quiet as they come up. But what's interesting is you notice what you take to be the captain of them, of the hobgoblins, is instead of wielding a longsword, he's wielding a spear, and hanging from the tip of the spear, which he's holding out in front of him, is a white flag.
I'll relay all this to Destil, suggest making some sort of defensive positions, but that they appear to be trying some sort of parlay.
Alright, yeah, no, that works for me. I'd say,
And I'll fly my owl out of sight and then just summon it.
Okay. So what is the plan? Just to take up a defensive position and wait?
Yep.
Yeah.
Are any of you going to ready an action to attack?
No, but
No.
all I'm going to do is just have my bow ready, just in case things do turn south.
I think I would like to go ahead and roll initiative, because I know you guys. So go ahead and let's do it.
I don't know if we want to fight 30-something hobgoblins, but...
Obble goblins.
That's like a 2-round
I think-
fight with Eldove and Tarin around.
Yeah, I think we could take 30-something hobgoblins. I don't care what kind of white flags they have.
Excuse me.
All right, Tarin, what's your initiative?
4.
4.
I stopped cheating.
Oh, that's too bad. You should have kept cheating. It would have been better for you. Zook, what's yours?
15. Still cheating.
Orphan?
10.
Eldove?
11.
And Mr. Not Supposed to Be Here Today?
9.
Tarin, it's a shame you're not getting to act this battle.
Tarin, it's your action.
You're upside down, Brick Road.
Oh, I am. Zook, it's your action. Why did I type that upside down? Why am I not smart?
I don't
today?
know.
I don't know why you do
I was
this.
I just let you keep typing it, and I was like, he's typing it upside down, but honestly, he notices.
Rick, would I know if these things would speak common? I have no idea if goblins and hobgoblins understand common or not.
You would imagine the captain probably does.
Okay. Zook is going to use minor illusion.
Okay.
He's going to throw something out in front of the group towards the goblin captain, and say, "If you come in peace, put your weapons down and come out with your hands up."
And you say it in your most intimidating little gnome voice, yes?
No, I am using minor illusion, so it is in a very intimidating voice.
So
that
it's
is
as
much
loud
deeper.
as a lion can roar?
It's like James Earl Jones is like roaring as a lion. It's
Now, wait.
Mustafa.
Are you
Fucking
trying
Lion
to
King.
are you trying to intimidate them, or are you trying to seduce them?
Mufasa.
I'm not trying to seduce them, but I'm trying to be more charismatic than intimidating.
Okay, so-
persuasion.
You say if you come in peace, lay down your weapons?
Yeah. If you come in peace, lay down your weapons.
Eldove.
First off, Eldove's player notices that he fixed your goddamn mess, Brick Road. And then he,
Wait, hold on. I gotta make a slight adjustment. Okay, so... Orphan, your turn.
I noticed that you managed to put it in the right spot.
No, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I don't know. I think I'll just let that shit play out.
Okay,
See
Orphan.
what's going on with that.
Let's see.
Excuse me.
Orphan's going to. Let's see. I was thinking about ready in action, but no, nothing. I'm just gonna get further. Which direction are the goblins in? They're about
They're
here.
over here. This is where Eldove sent the
they're
owl and
over
saw
here.
them marching through the woods.
All right, I'll back up a little bit.
And Khalil.
Bow drawn, arrow in hand, but not pulled yet.
So you're not ready in action to fire.
No.
A couple of seconds pass, and indeed, the hobgoblin captain steps out of the woods. And he's holding a spear in both hands, holding this white flag high. And he regards you all, and he sees that you all have weapons drawn on him. But he doesn't move or say anything. Just behind him in the woods, you can see a lot of rustling, and you can now hear a lot of movement. Is your owl still back there, Eldove?
No.
He dismissed
No,
it.
okay. Tarin.
Tarin does not have his sword out, and he'll motion for the rest of his group to put their weapons away, move forward about 10 feet, just hold his hand up, like to show that he, doesn't mean any harm. You speak common?
You ask him?
That's what I say. That's what Tarin
Okay.
says.
He nods and says, "Yes, I have human words."
We're not going to attack if you're not. And again, I'll motion for the rest of the group to put their weapons away.
He says, "That's good to hear. We have you outnumbered."
Tarin just nods. He
Zook.
tries not to hold back. He tries to hold back a smirk.
Does everybody else lay the weapons down?
Don't lay them
we're-
down, but I
shoot
put the
them.
arrow away, sling the bow back over the shoulder.
Zook will put his bow back over his shoulder and kind of hold his hands like he'll just fold his arms.
Yeah, Orphan puts her hands behind her head.
She just takes her hands off and lays them on the ground.
Ka-chunk, ka-chunk. It's crazy because she has laser guns underneath them. Pew, pew, pew.
I'm glad McDohl's playing today. The hobgoblin, still holding his spear out, he says that the war chief sent out scouts. The scouts reported your company moving through the woods. He would have words with you. He wishes to parley.
I'll shoot a quick mind link to Zook. You know anything about the war chief from interactions with the gnomes?
Rickard, do I know anything about a war chief from my interactions with the gnomes? I don't remember it.
You do not. Eldove,
Negative.
make a history check. Eldove can.
How close are we to the lake at this point?
Probably another day's march. Maybe not even that.
Now we kind of did a when I was talking to the bag of hair up on the mountain, you said that I would be able to pass basically any history check about gnomish history after talking to him all day. Does that come out?
It does not.
Okay, fair enough.
That's a 22 history.
Okay. Eldove, you're familiar with many types of goblinoids, goblins, orcs, bugbears, hobgoblins especially, that live out in the areas of Dunfoss where the border is like very sketchy. When you get out into the eastern foothills, like far beyond civilization, but before you get to any of the great dwarven kingdoms. Kind of a no man's land out there. However, goblinoids don't usually come this far towards the sea. It would be very strange for a hobgoblin war chief, especially, to be in this area. Not because there aren't things for him to raid. There's lots of little villages around in the woods and around outside the borders of the woods and the foothills and whatnot. Mostly for his own safety. You can't imagine a goblin or a hobgoblin war chief wanting to be active in this territory simply because Prince Humber simply raises a hand and marshals 10,000 men.
And I'll relate that to Tarin.
We're just on our way to Lake Fenifar. I mean, if it's no offense, if we're traveling through your territory, we're sorry. We can make some small amends for tolls or whatever, but we are, I'm afraid, a bit pressed for time.
He says, "Well, then you're in luck, for the war chief waits for you at the bank of Lake Fenifar."
I'll just shrug. All right, let's go.
And at that, he reaches back, shouts something in Goblin, and you see a couple dozen of these goblins form up in ranks in front of him, At his back, he has about maybe 10 or 12 hobgoblin warriors, well armed. The captain turns back around and nods, says, "Follow us, you will not be harmed." And he begins marching his troops back through the woods.
Yeah, follow him. I don't see any reason
Yes,
unless
if he's
anyone has.
leading the way, then
Yep.
yeah.
I'll follow Tarin.
I thought for sure this was going to turn into a slaughter. I'm very proud of all you guys.
We've matured so much. Zook's going to take the rear position and keep an eye out for, I don't know, any threats coming from behind.
More laundry golems.
In our defense, they didn't take random people hostage this time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that is true.
Or have any bears piss on our tent.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of not hobgoblin MO, so
I'll do a quick detect magic and scan the company.
nothing.
Okay.
And are they traveling in the direction that I would like them to be traveling?
They're traveling. I mean, the lake it's rather big. There's a lot of different ways to get through the woods. They're not taking the same path that the gnomes suggested you take, but you're still walking in that same-ish direction.
All right. No, nothing that would raise an alarm where I would say they're taking us the wrong way.
Oh
And-
god, another lake.
As you march through the woods, you start seeing signs of hobgoblin industry. Trees have been felled. You see, as you're passing, you see companies of hobgoblins out in the woods driving slaves. Mostly, they've enslaved however many tribes of little goblins, hollowing out canoes from tree trunks, forming large logs into wood, and then using that to construct siege engines. You see a great army has been marshaled here. And the closer you get to the lake, the thinner and thinner the tree line gets. They've been at work for some time. And eventually the captain leads you to the edge of the camp and tells you that you'll find the war chief in the main tent and that he's expecting you. And he looks at you. You can tell he's very suspicious of having you here. And he says he knows how many you are and what you're capable of. I would choose my words wisely if I were you.
Does he indicate that all of us are to enter the tent?
Yeah, he tells you where the tent is in camp.
Okay.
But he does
I like
not.
that compass rose.
Yeah, we need 2 compass roses on this map. Apparently, you guys really got to know where north is. And actually,
I know where.
the lake is much larger than you can see on this map. So let's just pretend this is just part of the bank.
Yeah, obviously.
We have to know what direction dragon is in.
Right. Well, the
Dragon
dragon
is
would be
north.
off to the east. That's not even indicating correctly where the dragon is.
I'm frankly
what
disappointed
is
the
this
compass roses don't conflict.
What is this?
Yeah, this.
That is a giant boar that they have roasting over a spit.
Okay.
And how long have they been here, judging by the industry?
You would think a company this size, they maybe could have gotten this work done in a couple of days.
Okay.
What I'm hearing is they don't have the distillery operational yet. Got it.
No trade to be had. Well, if he didn't indicate, one like only Tarin or only I should go in the tent, I think all of us should go there together.
Yeah,
and see what's up.
Yeah, he spoke that all of you should go. He says the war chief knows how many you are and he knows what you're capable of.
Okay.
He has a favor to ask of us.
So who all's going into the tent? Orphan's going to go over and check out the boar, apparently.
Yeah.
Eldove's in the tent. Khalil's in the tent.
I don't know where Zook went, but Zook's going to the tent. Yeah.
Fred as well.
Wait, so does Orphan just sort of wander off on her own towards the boar?
Oh, Orphan smells something delicious.
Yeah. She's hungry. She wants real food.
Zook just kind of shrugs and says, okay, well, be careful. Because I figure she could take care of herself.
Looking at the tent, you see a
Can
large
she?
and aged hobgoblin sitting there, wearing heavy mail, and he's wearing huge armored boots, which he has 2 goblins sitting at his sitting on the floor, furiously polishing them. And when he sees you walk in, he looks up and he gives them a fierce kick, and they squeal and scatter out the front of the tent. And he looks at you all and says, "Your destination is Lake Fenufar. that correct?
Yeah.
You seek audience with the wizard here.
Yes.
He says, I am the war chief, known as Trestov. And I regret to inform you, but the wizard of Lake Fenufar will not be employed here much longer. Says, my men and I have designs on tearing his tower down stone by stone, marching him naked through the woods, flaying his skin from his bones and feasting on his meat.
Can you give us like a week before you do that?
Says, what is your business with the wizard?
What's yours?
I think he just said it.
Yeah, he repeats himself. He has designs on tearing the tower down stone by stone, marching the wizard
Does
naked
he
through the
repeat
woods.
in the exact same words? Is he an NPC?
No, he actually gives Tarin a very impatient look when he's asked what is his business, but he does not repeat himself.
I mean, what has the wizard done to you?
This is the wizard commissioned a company of my men under one of my captains to complete for him some task. This task was completed, but payment was not rendered. Instead, he killed them. Sent a scant few survivors, scattering amongst the other companies. He said, I'm here to repay that debt. I have marshaled an army that the likes my kind has not seen in many generations, to see this wrong righted. So my question to you is, how do you plan to interfere?
Say to Tarin over the mind link, we don't plan to interfere, right? We just need to talk to him first.
I'm not sure. We should probably see what the wizard has to say. Maybe talk to one of the survivors first. Over the mind link.
Trestov looks very impatient when he does not get an answer.
We're here to finish picking up a commission that was made to the wizard. Once we have our goods, you can have them as you please.
Trestov looks not surprised. He's a little too reserved, a little too guarded to look openly surprised, but he looks satisfied. He says, good. He says, in that case, I may have use of you. He says, this wizard controls ferocious black magic. And he stands up and starts walking out of the tent. And he indicates for you to follow him.
Okay.
And when you all exit the tent, the whole boar has been eaten by Orphan. And
Orphan's fighting the rest of the
Is there an ice cream
town.
truck?
he points over the tower in the center of the lake, and you look up, and it's difficult to make out any features at this distance, but on the top of it you see some kind of large round shape, somewhat hidden by the cloud cover. The tower itself is different from the wizard's tower you all raided a couple of adventures ago, where that one was like large, had like a large circumference but was kind of short and fat. This one is like a tall and skinny tower. Each floor is much smaller, but there's more of them. He points up. Says, this wizard has constructed a weapon. Says, what he means to do with this weapon I cannot say, but a company of my troops helped him to complete it. Instead of rendering payments, he saw them killed. One managed to survive, scrabbled back to one of the other companies, told stories of fantastic wealth inside of the tower and ferocious black magic wielded by the wizard within. That company, of course, came here to lay waste to the tower, see the wizard killed, raid the treasure inside. He shakes his head and says, but by that time this weapon had been completed. He says, from what I've heard of the survivors, It's a large glass mirror. It catches sunlight, turns it into magic, throws it down on the ground in great fire and explosion. And he points over to one of the other banks of the lake, off in this direction, off over this where this dragon is. This dragon has been stabbed through the head. Like someone has just this dragon has been treated badly. And you see one of the eastern banks of the lake looks like it's been the site of a large fire very recently. A lot of trees over in that direction have been burned out. There's a decent-sized crater in the ground there that has begun filling up with water from the lake. He says, survivors of that second assault sent word around and it reached me. And that's why I've marshaled this army. And he points back up to the tower. He says, we were able to use catapults. We think we've damaged the weapon and he has not used it against us. He says, but still, you see why I'm reluctant to send all my men across the lake. It could be very dangerous. Turns around and says, that's where you come in. He points up the western bank of the lake. So some of my scouts have reported they found a bear cave up in that direction, in the cliffs along the side of the lake. While they were staying there, taking refuge from the rain, one of them found a secret door leading down into a tunnel, and we believe this tunnel is a secret entrance into the tower. This, unfortunately, is guarded by a magical trap, and the door itself is locked by magic, and we do not have the means to open it. But I'm betting you do.
So what, you want us to open the door and let your army in?
He says it would be best if you were to clear the tunnel. Then my men could go through without risking the heavy losses being along the banks or in the on the open lake. He says if you manage to get into the tower, complete whatever business you have with the wizard, if you can agree to get him to surrender peaceably, he said, for this I would be willing to share with you and your company some amount of the wealth to be found within.
Is there any reason to believe that this wizard would be hostile to, if you don't mind me saying, non-goblin approach? Because we had business with him.
He looks at
Did
you
we not?
and says, you're a gnome, but not of the likes I've seen. He says, yes, I believe he poses a great threat to your kind. The original commission that he took on was to raid a gnomish village in the hills. And he rattles off the name of a village, which you've never heard of. This is a village of tinker gnomes. They had in their possession a device that the wizard coveted, and my men went out and raided it, brought the items to him, and like I said, instead of payment, they received treachery.
I'll look at Khalil and kind of shoot him over the mind. Like, do you believe this guy is telling the truth?
Throw an insight.
I don't know. Insight that shit.
While they're doing that, how delicious is this core?
Not very delicious. I mean, it's being prepared by goblins, and Eldove's not around to cast prestidigitation. You kind of have to fight off a couple of the goblins to get some scraps. But once they see that you pose a greater threat than they do, they kind of slink away and let you at it.
Nice.
So, I did a 17 insight, specifically about the tinker gnome business he was telling us.
14.
He seems to be telling the truth about the tinker gnomes.
Okay.
But you can tell he's holding something back. There's something he's not telling you. But he does. It seems like he's more desperate for his help than he's letting on. Desperate for your help, rather.
Seems like he wants someone who wants cannon fodder rather than to risk his own men.
You wouldn't
He
assume
probably
that
just needs
because
access to magic.
if he needed cannon fodder, he's got hundreds of goblins at his disposal.
Yeah, he just
He
needs
needs
access to
magic.
magic. Yeah.
I guess my only question is, and I'm saying this out loud, why he would... if we have reason to believe my human companions couldn't merely go down the front door to see what this wizard's all about and scout out information that way first.
He shrugs and says, if you want to take a boat across the open water, be my guests. He says, but if you do that, I cannot guarantee your safety.
Can you guarantee our safety if we go tinkering around with magic doors in the cave?
He says, I'm very wary about your kind, by which I mean, and he looks at you with a little bit of disdain in his face, and he says, by which I mean adventurer types. He says, the lot of you specialize in going into the places of the world where reasonable folk like myself have no need to prod. As you see, then, why I'm asking for your assistance in regards to this tunnel that we found.
He's calling us murder hobos.
Well, it certainly seems like you have need now. Our standard fee for infiltrating wizard towers is 1/5 the share of the gold of the wealth and first pick of magical items. If you're okay with that, we'll see what we can do.
I was thinking more along the lines of 1/10.
The magic is more important to us, so I can work for 1/10 as long as we get first pick.
Zook just shoots Tarin a look that's somewhere between pride and wonder. Like, what?
Throw a persuasion, Tarin.
Sure. I'm good at this one. Where's my persuasion?
I
Plus 10.
you rolled better than
so
he
it's a
did.
19.
He nods and he says, the price is fair.
Duke shrugs and says, makes no real difference to me how we get in. We can go mess with magic doors.
How far is the cave?
Tarin and Eldove. Throw me a wisdom 10 real quick. And yeah, he gives you directions on how to find this bear cave. It's about maybe half a day's journey, not even quite that. Up around the western edge of the lake where it gets rockier and there are cliffs.
I actually made that somehow.
I can't tell if I made it or not.
I want to reroll.
So go with him.
Tarin, it sounds to your ears like he's dealing with an arcane lock.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured something Dispel Magic would pop off.
Do any of you actually have Dispel Magic?
Eldove does. Oh, wait, no, he has
I
Counterspell.
don't think he does.
I have Counterspell.
Yeah,
Eldove,
that's right.
I checked.
We've been relying on Eric for Dispel Magic.
Eldove does not have Dispel Magic and he does not have Knock.
Eric existed this week.
Does Fred have Dispel Magic?
That's a good question. Does he? He does not. He has Leomid's tiny hut.
Well,
Alright, we teleport to go pick up Eric. We come back.
Oh no, Eric got eaten by gnomes back at
I
Farseer.
can magic our way through a door. Don't worry about it.
I can magic our way through a door.
So,
I can pick a regular lock.
well, and keep in
Arcane
mind,
lock?
a door can be both arcane lock and mundane locked at the same time.
Right. But on the other side, you can often raise them normally. Like, Arcane Lock is often only on the back, and they just reinforce it.
Well, the way the spell works is that usually an arcane lock door has a password. And if you speak the password, it suppresses the spell for 1 minute. So you can get through. So it's different from like a glyph of warding, which you... like Zook encountered at Udok's village. Which, rather than having a password or something, it only admits a certain person or a certain type of person.
Guys, we got to go back to Udok's village. There's something else to do there. Anywho, yeah, I'm game. I mean, we'll brute force our way through this one way or another.
You can pick an Arcane Lock. It's just much harder.
If I cast Identify in an Arcane Lock, would I learn the command word?
No, you would not.
I'll ask, he's asking the Hobgoblin. In your investigations, did you encounter anything in the cave that might be of...
He kind of sighs a little bit. He says, meaning no offense to them, but these investigations, as you say, were carried out by goblins. Needless to say, they were not very thorough.
Did they bring back anything shiny that we might get a look at?
2 of them were killed.
Okay, fair enough.
So nothing
keep an eye-
shiny then.
Keep an eye out for traps, I hear.
They described to me statues of a great dwarven warrior on either side of a magic door. They were not able to open it. The
How
statues
were they
slayed
killed?
2 of them.
Statues came to life and slayed them?
They claim that the statues
That sounds pretty reasonable.
moved, were able to swing their giant axes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay.
He says, I'll give you 48 hours to complete this task, at which point the assault on the tower will begin.
Wait, hold on. You're going to give us 48 hours to break into a wizard's tower through the back door?
He says, do you need longer?
Before you attack the front door?
He says, don't misunderstand me. If I can take the tower without reducing it to rubble, it would be best for all.
If we need more time, we can always come back and ask for more.
Yeah, no, we can. That's not a problem.
Alright, fair enough. I didn't know if you'd want with Tarin, can you send word to him if there's
Yeah.
we need more time? Yeah. Just be prepared for that.
Okay, so you guys head up for the cave.
Yeah.
It's a couple of hours up along the western bank of the river, and the bank begins to descend downward a little bit. So you have large cliffs up to your left, and then the forest is up above them. And eventually you do find this bear cave that was described to you. You go in, and you see where part of the rock wall has opened inward. One of these goblins stumbled upon a secret door. And inside is a staircase that leads downward.
Personally, I believe the hobgoblin taking shit from a bunch of gnomes that he wants sounds like exactly something a wizard would do.
Oh no,
Um,
that I believe.
Yeah, I don't necessarily trust the hobgoblin. Eldove, what do you think of hobgoblins? Because I know I'm not from this world.
What do I think of hobgoblins? Are any of them not murderous bastards?
No, to your...
Would you ever see a hobgoblin in Civilization?
You would not. In fact, it's very rare that you would see a half-orc in Civilization. Hobgoblins are murderous raiders that live on the outskirts of Civilization. They raid villages, they steal livestock, they burn farms. Unless the local lord has enough force to fight them off. Which is why you have such this prime duchy that you were given way down south in Caer Tyrell. Why that land had never been developed is nobody was able to hold it before. And these
How many
goblin
hobgoblins have we killed?
You probably 0. Khalil probably many. Because Khalil and his mercenary group traveled that road many times in the past year.
Yep.
So Khalil is very skilled in fighting hobgoblins. And what you know, Khalil, is that hobgoblins, unlike goblins, bugbears, orcs, they're very disciplined. They live for war, but they're disciplined. They're tacticians. They have a rank and file that other like goblin and orc raiders typically operate on. The strongest and the leader, and once he's overthrown, there's a new leader. Hobgoblins work. There's usually a war chief. Beneath him are some number of captains. Each captain commands some number of units, etc., etc. So to see a war chief bringing all his arms to bear at one location is very, very odd to you.
So just so we're clear, if the wizard gives us a different story and I like his better, I'm not against going back and slaying all the hobgoblins. But
I want to see. I'm not against helping him repair his sun tower weapon, Eye of Judgment, and going all
but if
Kefka
he's
on him.
but if he is, going after helpless gnomes, then we've got a different story on our hands.
So the stone stairs emerge into a dark, moist cavern. There's no light down here. How is Khalil seeing? Do you light a torch? Do you have your ring, or what are you doing?
I'll activate my ring.
Okay.
How often can you use that ring?
It's got 3 charges, and 1 charge lasts an hour.
Does it do anything useful except for light? Because we could maybe...
I get advantage on perception-based
Yeah,
checks.
it has 3 functions, but he has to activate each one separately. He can't use 2 at once.
Yeah.
So you guys, nobody's standing. You're all standing up in the stairway right now. You haven't actually
Okay.
entered the room yet.
I
Trust
was
me.
gonna ask,
Go ahead
what are you
and
guys
put-
doing?
You
What's
want to
your-
not
what's
be
your
in the room
scout
yet.
in?
Yeah, go ahead and put. You are gonna look for trap Zook.
Yeah,
we see any
Zook-
dead goblins?
So everybody
Zook will
move up
go in
out of the
first.
stairs first. Place yourself.
Completely out of the stairs.
Can someone move me? I'm in the other room grabbing a soda.
Oh. So the
We
stone
did move
stairs
you.
emerge into a dark and moist cavern, somewhere beneath the lake. And before you stands a heavy metal door. Not like a door that's playing heavy metal. It's not like a Metallica door. It's like a door.
Wait,
that's
is it a metallic door?
Yes, it's a metal door, and it's a very heavy door, but it's not like it's not like sick electric guitar riffs. Okay. Flanking the door on either side are great stone statues of giant dwarves, here and here. The roof in this area is probably about 9 feet tall, and these dwarves probably stand a good 8 feet. They're enormous. They're bigger than a normal human would be. And each dwarf is holding in its hands a two-handed great axe. And you see the remains of a dead goblin here and one here. And when I say remains, I don't mean like the corpse laying on the ground. I mean like a goblin has been hacked repeatedly with a very heavy axe until the pulpy mass on the ground is barely recognizable.
Can I, because I started to ask Goblin Chief the thing, and I wanted to clarify something
Okay.
that I would have asked him back then. Did the statues hack at them when they approached, or when they touched the door? Like, did he know what triggered the attack?
To hear the goblins tell it, the statues came to life and chased them out of the cave.
Like as soon as they entered it, or they're not more specific than that?
They came down into the room, looked around for a minute, and statues came to life, started attacking them. 2 were killed, and they chased the rest out of the cave. That's the story that's the story that you got from a hobgoblin who had it from a couple of scared goblins.
Right. Now I don't know if they touched the door first or anything like that. So, and how much of this room can I see from here? Can I see pretty much everything
you can
that
see
I
the
see
whole
right
room.
now?
Yeah, you can see the whole room from standing 10 or 15 feet upstairs.
Do you guys want to do your? Well, I mean, I'm assuming it's all magical, but do you guys want to see what you can tell from up here? Or I go dancing around down there, see if there's any floor traps, maybe.
Yeah, I'll detect magic.
Everything is magic. The floors, the walls, the ceiling, the statues are radiating magic very heavily. The door itself is radiating magic very heavily. The whole
Zook,
room,
cool.
it lights up down here.
Zook picks up a rock and tosses it kind of in the middle of the room to see if there's any reaction.
Well, you aim for the middle of the room, but Tarin's standing there, so you hit him in the head.
If I can shoot an arrow past him, I think I can fling a rock past him.
No, the rock
What
just
school
lands
of
in
magic is the floor?
the rock just lands in the room. I don't know what school of magic it is.
I'll
Something. Probably enchantment. Let's just say it's all enchantment.
Is it necromancy?
Yes.
I'll cast minor illusion and make a minor illusion of Zook and have it walk across the. I don't have the handle. Make it walk across. For some reason, my tabs aren't taking. I'll make it walk across towards the door.
Okay, and now there's a minor illusion of Zook walking towards the door. Not clothed, because he never specified he was wearing pants, so just, there's Zook's butt. I don't know how Tara knows what Zook's butt looks like, but... No,
I'm wearing pants.
the illusion walks into the room, stands in between the 2 statues.
I'll have it touch the door.
In as much as an illusion can touch a door, but it looks
Right.
like the illusion puts his hand forward in the area of the door.
Zook will suggest to Tarin, Mage Hand has physical force, right? Why not have it? Why not touch the
Does
door?
the door
that way?
have a knob or a handle or a ring or anything?
The door looks like it has 2 very heavy locks on it. Heavy deadbolts that, with some time, Zook might be able to open. And it's also heavily radiating magic. This is the door that the Hobgoblin told you as much was magically locked.
I'll cast Mage Hand. It'll probably be outside of the 5-pound limit.
No, I mean, the door does not budge when you try to mage hand it.
Yeah.
But physically touching the door also elicits no response.
No.
Well, it's
Not from the
magically
mage hand.
visible.
So what do we think? Are we just gonna assume that the statues are gonna attack us and blow them up before they can, or?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. What the best way to? I was trying to figure out if there was a way to figure out what the trigger is to bring them to
I
life.
mean, if you want, I just arcane gate us through the door.
That seems like a
Problem is,
much better plan.
I can't get us back today, but we can always teleport out.
I can try to pick it
Yeah.
from the other side.
Alright, so I will cast Clairvoyance and create a visual scrying sensor on the opposite side of the door.
Can
That
you send
takes
that?
10 minutes.
Can you send that into a place you can't see?
Yep, that's the whole reason I took it. This gives me line of sight, and then I can put the portal anywhere I have line of sight.
Okay.
I just state the distance and direction.
Wait, I have a question first.
Yeah.
How far away is the goblin camp?
It was a couple hours walk around the lake.
Okay.
Will this take all of us at once, or will you go, or do we go one at a time?
It's an arcane gate.
It's
Just
the
walk through
portal
it.
spell.
Oh, it's the portal spell. Yeah.
So
And
where do
we'll
you
actually
send
go-
your scrying sensor? How far and in what
Where
direction?
I'm going to assume that the walls are 5 feet thick, so I'll put it. Let's see here. For some reason, my tabs aren't working. Do I need a specific tool?
You need to be on the
Because-
hand tool to the tab.
Okay. Okay, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'll put it 35 feet straight back right there. Same height as the floor.
Okay. And see a network of hallways beyond the door.
And then I will open up a portal.
I'm going to actually promote you so you can draw the portals.
Okay.
Promote you for having ported us past the door.
Sure, I think 10 feet wide. Oh, right, the line tool doesn't actually draw. Here we go.
Yeah, you need the pencil
I like to
tool.
reward initiative.
That's a crappy portal.
That's fine.
It works.
And how long does that stay open?
It's a curved portal.
Concentration, or I think a minute. Let me double check.
And does it require you to tether it to the wall, or can you open it in empty space?
I can open it anywhere along the floor. I can rotate it as well. The duration is... I don't have the duration here. It's a minute, at least. It's either 1 or 10.
Okay. Well,
I'll
it's long
look
enough
it
for
up.
everybody to get through.
Yeah. And then Tarin will step through the portal.
Is there any reaction when they step through the portal?